Hello, I'm Elaine, and I welcome you to ethBeats, Lessons in Graceful Living. Today, we are very pleased to have with us Miss Claire Chiang. Claire is co-founder of Banyan Tree Hotels and Resorts. Both Claire and Banyan Tree hardly need any introduction, so I'll keep my intro short. Claire pioneered Banyan Tree's retail business and now focuses on the acquisition of new management contracts in China. She also oversees strategic issues in organizational and human capital capability and is responsible for guiding the group's corporate social responsibility commitments. Claire was appointed Justice of the Peace in 2008. She received the Public Service Medal PBM in 2008 and the Public Star BBM in 2014. As a strong advocate for women and inclusivity, she has received numerous awards. She's also named one of Asia's top sustainability superwomen and inducted into the Singapore Women's Hall of Fame. Banyan Tree Holdings operates numerous hotels and spas across 23 countries, with additional hotels and resorts in the pipeline. The group's primary business is centered on 4 brands, the award-winning Banyan Tree and Angsana, as well as the more newly established Cassia and Dawa. Banyan Tree Holdings has received countless industry awards and accolades, as well as recognition for its commitment to environmental protection and community development. Banyan Tree's core philosophy of embracing the environment, empowering people, reflects the values and beliefs of its founders, and I hope to unpack some of it in this time that we have. So Claire, we'll start with the environment. Rooted in the ethos of embracing the environment, empowering people, the group places emphasis on the physical and human environment when making business decisions. The group has substantial experience in conserving, restoring, and cleaning the local environment and combating environmental threats. Even before ESG became a buzzword, Banyan Tree was known for design and architecture that respects the local environment. How did this come about, and what guided the decision-making at the various points?
I think our conscientization journey is really not out of a theoretical design or an intellectual pursuit. It's a mix, We chance on a piece of land and we love the sunset. And we see the possibility of building a little hut for ourselves. Little did we know that whatever we chanced on was afterwards, when we did our due diligence, that it was an abandoned tin mine that actually was undevelopable. And therefore the story began. We had to pump in the money, put in the expertise to rehabilitate the piece of land to make it now the integrated resort and destination Laguna. And we won an award for that by American Express. But that testifies to the possibility of converting from nothing to something. And that gives us the sense of the notion of value creation. To convert something from nothing to something and to make something that was abandoned, declared useless, hopeless, to now a thriving community. It's been 30 years of work, incremental transformation, a continual learning, implementation, measuring, monitoring, consulting to get to where we are today. So I cannot pretend that we thought we knew what we did and that we were so gung-ho and smart about knowing what to do. No. It was just a commitment to being conscious about protection. And I think being children of the 60s in Singapore, we grew up with scarcity of the economy. We grew up in the nation-building years where resources are scarce and therefore are precious. That mindset somehow trains us to look at environment with a bit more care and more affection and not wanting to destroy it. And being both of us in a form, in a way, idealist. KP is trained in economics and I'm trained in sociology. We are from the people industry. So we care about development, not necessarily modernization. And we care about development for what purpose, for whom. And I took a course on development sociology, and that has stayed with me till today. That was part of 50 years of education. And I believe that we continually have to ask the question. It's just not about doing things right, following all governance standards, what stock exchange guidelines may be, but asking the question, what are the right things to do? And for us, the right thing to do is protect, defend, create value, look at stakeholders, not just the shareholders. So it is over years of education on our own and sharing with different networks and being educated, informed, that we conscientize ourselves to the whole notion of environmental sustainability. Yeah. And I think this continuing inquisitiveness and curiosity to try to understand, try to implement and learn from others, the best practices, is, I feel, that the spirit of learning that we should accredit to get to where we are. And I still think we know so little, we are doing so little, and we have the challenges, but we are continually on the track to improvement.
Yes, I think what really put you guys apart and ahead is really the spirit of learning, curiosity, and the strong sense of responsibility. I think that's really
so. Because I think this is truly an era of responsibility. And I was really inspired by what I read from Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker is a management guru. And he said that we all focus in business schools and all about structure, about curriculum, about the market, about optimization, etc. But what we really should be focused on is management is about people, about heritage, about culture, and to really look at values, responsibilities. Why are we doing what we are doing, and for whom, and for what purpose? So besides the passion that we had about a sunset that made us convert Bantao Bay to what we are doing today in an integrated resort, the important word we looked at will be purpose.
Yes, and so I think I'll come back to purpose in a bit. I just want to just tie up on the point of environment. So in this journey, you would have had to deal with detractors, for example, who would have raised issues with the additional costs associated with doing things in the right way, in a way that respected the environment, in a way that was guided by the concepts of sustainability. How did you deal with that?
We have to debunk that tie-up, that being sustainable is costly. Not necessary. Because you have a short-term cost, you have the long-term cost. Short-term is, yes, you have to buy equipment that is good. It might be a good and cheaper equipment, but the operational efficiency of using that equipment in the long term brings you operational savings of dollars. So it is therefore seen as an investment now, but a long-term cost efficiency you'll gain. So you see in this way, you delink that doing sustainability is about being a costly adventure. No. And now with all the green technology that's coming up and with more, awareness and better research being done, we can do a whole lot of things that is green and not so costly. But it is that awareness and the mindset and the willingness to know, to learn what to do and what's the right thing to do. There are detractors. There are general managers who say, oh my God, to do this, I have to monitor, to measure, to report, and to understand the matrix. the administrative and the understanding of the workings of the operation, that is the challenge. And that's why for this year, we are not just talking about sustainability. We are embedding it in the operational matrix so that the management will embrace it as their key matrix for the performance assessment. And it is only that way that they really walk the talk. And only by walking the talk that you measure and monitor it, that you can actually improve.
Yeah, that's right. The Banyan Tree Group was a trailblazer in sustainable tourism. So the core concept of sustainability continues to guide your business focus of creating long-term value for your stakeholders and destinations across your network of properties. Is your purpose-driven mission to breathe new life into places, spaces, and experiences? What has been some of the joys or challenges that you have experienced?
The realization of a project from nothing to something like Laguna Integrated Resort. The transformation we did when we worked with communities to teach them how to do basketry or weaving, using local materials and their own talent to create new things for the market and to earn a living without having to move to the cities. So it is about transformation, it's protection of the landscape, because in development, something has to go. When we take away from the environment, we restore, so we grow trees. But it's the balancing act of restoration and building forward that I think are the important pillars in rejuvenation. And for me, the joy of seeing how supporting a young entrepreneur and teaching them how to use organic material to produce, and they could survive with it and thrive in the market, and seeing them grow, that's for me the joy. So post-COVID, I went back to Chiang Mai to look at the some of our producers, suppliers. We supported about 200 over communities, in terms of suppliers for the retail, Bayan Tree Gallery. And when they opened their gate to us, when knowing that we are coming, because for 4 years they were all shut, factories were really closed down. So seeing that welcome and seeing that we can create a difference to their own livelihood, and also more to their artistry, that we appreciate their artistry. That for me, the joy that I see in their eyes is a joy to my heart. So that mutuality is a stakeholder relationship. And a lot of them are women. And that gives me an extra, because you keep the woman in place, you keep the children, and there's division of labor. They don't have to migrate to the cities. They can stay in situ to add value to where they are, where they live. And then we see the improvement. They get better roads. We even ask them, do you need a school? We build schools. We give drinking water. Slowly, the communities, the quality of community living is enhanced. Yes. That's for me the greatest joy in value creation.
Yeah. Yes, I understand that. I go back to your founding ethos of embracing the environment and empowering people. So you care not only for the guests who stay at your accommodations, but also for the communities in which you operate. So one aspect to this is how you have advocated and enabled education, inclusive vocational training, and community development. So you have mentioned some of this. Would you be able to speak a little bit about the more formal education or training that has been enabled?
One of the benefits of COVID entrapment when I was 7 months in Phuket was to have pivoted from doing business development in China, which I've done for 16 years, and sustainability, I still continue to do so, was to have pivoted to Bayan Tree Management Academy. So for the 3 years, I redesigned the workshops for learning and talent development for all our associates. So I did the 8 cultures. I did the application of some of our fundamental values, etc. And the whole teaching methodology is Zoom, interactive classes, and reading, writing, sharing, and having courageous conversations. So when you say formal, I think we scheduled formally all the things they must learn, good to learn, and excellent to learn. They are the KPIs, matrix for measurement, what they have to achieve to get the next promotion, to get to the next job grade. That's a formal routine. The informal part is really what delights me. Getting people together at real time from Mexico on the west to Japanese on the east to people from Korea and people from Arabia, from Bermuda Bay, Morocco, Al Ula, and people from the South Indonesia, getting all together in the same platform where they connect, where they network, where they hear and understand one another in a cross-cultural way so that we see ourselves as people, not as Singaporean or Indonesian or Mexican, etc. That universality is all underpinned by the Banyan Tree values and the DNA, the Banyan Tree way. And that's why I have done probably close to about 500, 600 workshops in the last 3 years. And it has been a delight because I do that in C1, which is China, in Chinese, and then we do the rest of the world in English. We also carry them out in different languages, Japanese, Spanish, Arabic, etc., using GPT, translation, Google, whatever we can. So we are leveraging on technology and seeing the power of technology in social media outreach, in learning and exchange. So we adopt always a formal structure, informal conversations. And this next 3 years, I am actually designing on the spot, on the job, on the go, bite-sized training. 15 minutes modules where we do one-on-one coach, one and team coach, so that it is real, authentic, just in time.
That sounds excellent. Wow. Yeah. They are so lucky.
Well, that's applying really what I've done for 16 years as an educationist. I taught in Hong Kong University as well as Singapore University and wrote a book. And so that academic training has been very beneficial, but I'm not satisfied with academia alone. I want to know how you apply that in real life and how to optimize it in our application to create understanding and connection.
Yes. So I go back to Banyan Tree's philosophy of embracing the environment, empowering people, and how this reflects your own values and beliefs, and that also of your co-founders. Because the founders share the same values and beliefs, you are rowing in the same direction. However, there are bound to be differences in views. How have any of these differences been resolved, bearing in mind the close relationships involved? I also recognize that some of these issues, in particular, in relation to empowering women in the community or in terms of inclusiveness, these would be issues very close to your heart.
The co-founder I'm married to must share what I believe in, to have stayed in this marriage for 46 years. We just celebrated our anniversary 2 days ago.
Congratulations.
We went back to Hong Kong, the origin of Banyan Tree, because we were staying at Banyan Cove, where that was really the first inspiration of the Banyan Way, you know. I think there will always be differences between leadership and management. There will be conflict among leaders themselves. Of course, there will be always disagreement and conflict among peers. Interesting you asked this question today because this morning we finished a module on conflict management. And I found myself saying that, you know, when we have disagreement, you can fight it but fight it with facts and information. And fight it without thinking that you're 100% sure. Fight it thinking that you're only 50%. Fight it with an open-minded way so that you can always hear alternative models. And fight it with only 50% of humility because you can hear better things. If not, it's a losing battle. So you fight or you flight. You don't fight. At certain times you don't because you know that it's useless and it may not be the right time, right? So the way to deal with differences on any issues really goes back to being aware and asking yourself, am I clear enough? What are my expectations different from yours? What are the cultural differences? What's the information I must gather? What are the other possibilities? So it is the process of negotiation and navigation. It's the exchange between people, and it's the understanding of the differences of cultures and personalities that we need to coach and tackle. So I don't believe that differences are so scary, and I don't think they are finite, nor are they absolute. I think we just need to learn about ourselves and how we then deliver and tackle. We have to learn about the other, how they think and feel and act, and come to reach a common core of action. And we are all in the same company to want to do the best for the company. So if you focus on that common core in that discussion and that navigation, and not personalize emotions and eliminate all those emotions and look at the way that and creating and enabling culture of exchange and open-mindedness. If you do that, I do not fear differences. Not easy. You do get a fight, you do quarrel, you walk away. But you have to constantly, as mature adults and professionals, learn to professionalize the challenge and not personalize it. I have to do that with my spouse. How not to personalize it and say, you must listen to me because I'm your wife, or vice versa. No, we professionalize the task and treat and tackle the task, not the emotion and not the person. That's an attitude a priori we all have to adopt as professionals in dealing with any differences. And you find that usually conflict becomes an opportunity because you discover new things, new ways, and the things you assumed were right will actually need to be qualified. You get new information and you get new solutions, and that's all very exciting. So in a way, I don't believe in 100% a perfectionist. I believe in 50%, and you leave the other 50% to discovery and learning.
Well, thank you for that. I think there's a lot of wisdom there. Thank you. As a group, you are purposeful and passionate about doing good. You wanted to do business in a responsible way, recognizing the need to respect the land and its people. How has purpose and responsibility shaped governance and leadership?
We do things right. So we believe in compliance, governance, standards, policies. But we believe even stronger doing the right things. And what would that be? We believe business cannot thrive if societies fail, if the environment is degraded. With that as the drivers for what we see as development, we are very purposeful about the way we design, optimize the land, the way we operate, the way we deliver our service. So the purposefulness is aligned with what we believe as good values, the DNA of Bayan Tree, the Banyan Way. So we believe in gender equality. So the way we recruit, we retain, we motivate is with a lens that's sensitive to gender discrimination. We believe in a brand that we eat for good. And therefore, we will look nutritionally at the way we source our food, prepare our food, and entertain them. So this year, we are actually come up with 40 standards as a brand for good. So by walking the talk is actually looking at each matrix, not just what we hope to achieve purposefully, how we're going to do it, how we're going to execute it, how do we measure it, and reward our executives for achieving them. So it is purposeful behavior of doing good by walking the talk.
Yes, I saw a reference to that in your latest sustainability report.
Right. So
Yes.
people think purpose is a big way of grand design. There is profit as a big P, profits, but for me, it's purpose is a big P besides passion. And the one P people always talk about is profits for sure. But for me, it would be performance. That we perform our level best.
Yeah. And in terms of purpose, have you found that purpose for you changed? Has it changed over the years?
I saw an article that I wrote when I was in Paris in Sorbonne University, and I was only 23. And I was in a way struck by the fact that my values were enduring. They didn't change. So what had governed my approach all these decades, in Chinese we say 修身齐家服事治国平天下. It's about the self-agency, family integrity, community support, state governance, and leveling the playing field to bring about peace. So this is my worldview. It has not changed, but the way I do it, the way I express, the way I execute, the way I then achieve and set my goals, that vary with maturity and in depending where I operate. So that purposefulness, I feel that is a compass to guide me do what I do, I think has not clearly changed. I gave a speech recently to the Rotary Club, and I said, why am I in the Rotary? Because at 17, I was a director of service in National Junior College. I was a director of social service for the Interact Club. So what I feel the growing up years, the way I grew up in Little India, the way my mother taught me about the kampong spirit, the gotong royong spirit, the way that I was participating in schools on teamwork and all that, those were really the sources of inspiration to teamwork and community building. And it, for me, the purpose of life is how to work together as a collective and how to work it with collective awareness and collective solutions.
Yes. I also wanted to ask you, what's your source of strength when the chips are down?
I think childhood growing up years really train you, and having a mother that put you to 2 schools, and growing in Singapore in those years where we had the water threat. I remember going to queue for water at the public tap and fighting with 5 grown brothers and being the only girl, competition of space and taking food and all that. I think build up you the resilience. And having gone through 30 years in business, the ups and downs from SARS to now COVID, and all the disasters, natural disasters, political coups, currency devaluation up and down in business, and bouncing back, probably train in you that quotient of resilience. And that resilience, you do feel sometimes down, of course, but you then also feel there will be yet another tomorrow. As long as you keep your compass where you're going and hold your North Star with the collective you're with, the family and the community, we can't let go. We have 10,000 people to feed, and 10,000 people and their families if by average of 5, we have a lot of people to take care of, to be concerned about, and committed to. And we have been so grateful that they have done for us during all this crisis and assaults. They stayed the course. They cut their pay. They cut their meal tickets.
Wow. Okay.
And we too. So it's a mutuality
Mm.
and this trust and this bond that motivates us. So
I can see
their
that. I can
aspiration
see
is really
that.
my inspiration. We can't let go. We
Yeah.
can't say, we can't whine, groan, cry. We do that privately.
Yeah.
Yes, there were tough times. But you get better. And when there is a collective strength, you feel stronger.
Yes.
And that motivates.
Any takeaways for our listeners?
People always look at wanting to become a leader. I actually shun the word leadership and leaders because many kill each other. And then along the way, hubris set in. They forget the original ethos of what it is all about. I like the word leading. You lead yourself. You lead yourself. You lead the others, leading others, and leading the organization and leading self. So self, others, organization, it's a layering process and journey of becoming, from being to becoming. There's potentiality, there's hope, there's dynamism, there's humility. That becoming is the end, not the end for us, because I think it is a forever game. And this forever game means you're always learning and willing to learn. Once you are able to see life that way, every day is an opportunity. It's joy and not finite. So at the end of it, you ask, what is this all about for you? It is a self-defining process. And answer, what is enough for you to lead a good life? And what may that be? This is actually an assignment I give to all my associates. To answer that, you will then have to be aware, who am I? How do I define what is enough? What's an enough culture? Whole book written on enough culture. For me, for Claire Chiang, for Elaine, to lead, and you have to be the one to walk the talk, to lead it. A good life. Define what is goodness for you.
Yes.
And by thinking that, you will then be able to not be too obsessed by wealth, houses, lifestyle, luxurious lifestyle and all that, because the purpose and the meaning you impute into your own self-defining thinking will be the satisfaction drivers. How many rich people are there and they're not happy? How many poor people and poorer people are there and they are so satisfied with themselves and dignified in their vocation? Artists, sculptures, etc. So it boils down again to purpose, the meaning, and what you see as so-called success. And I really ask all people who are listening, do not manage money or just your ambition. At this point, manage your energy. And that energy exudes from within. And how you nurture that and nourish that, enrich that is through reading, experimentation, application, and networking. So it is all about your convictions, what you believe in, and your alignment, yourself, your others, and your organization. Are you aligned? If you're not, walk out. Your friends, are you aligned? Are they aligned with what you believe in? If no, throw them out. Find new friends. And if you notice the word CAN, convictions, alignment, and network, build your networks. Don't do it alone. The word is can. You can. I can. We all can. That's
Wow.
my gift for you today.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I think it all ties up with purpose, which is what we started with. Yes. Right. Thank you so
Good,
much. Really
good.
appreciate this. Thank you for the inspiring messages. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you. So all the best.
ethBeats is a podcast of the ethB platform supported by RHT Grace Institute, a non-profit organization. You may find out more information in the notes to this podcast.